Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, this one featuring Hecarim. Yes, I have had requests for a Hecarim game, and we've actually got an interesting Hecarim game to use here. So, this is from one of our Tuesday YouTube night custom games. I am actually spectating this game. I was spectating this game and doing commentary while it was played, so I am not in this game. We're going to be focusing on Spreekaway here, who's going to be playing as Jungle Hecarim in this game. Alongside him on the blue team, Arveris Nox playing as Tristana, Senin the Pro playing as Lee Sin, Shadow Clone 1996 playing as Gragas, and Warlord playing as Tarek. Then on the other side, on the red side of the map, we have Sandstream playing as Sona, Siriel playing as Jax, Shinsetsu playing as Corki, Shogun Lee playing as Nunu, and Solo Blaze playing as Orianna. And there were quite a few players who had relatively high ratings in this game. We had a lot of like 15 and 1600 players in this game, so this was a game where the level of skill was maybe a little bit higher than in some of our other custom games overall. And it turned into an interesting game just because I haven't really had a chance to do much with Hecarim. He seems to be one of those champions that's just more or less been forgotten since he came out. I mean, you've rarely seen him played. He has never really caught on in the competitive scene. St. Vicious has screwed around with him a little bit, but that's about the only professional jungler that I've seen trying to use Hecarim. So what are some of his strengths and weaknesses? Well, he does have some advantages. He does have a nice area of effect crowd control on his ultimate, which we'll talk more about later. He clears the jungle reasonably fast. He's got pretty decent clear times. He can be built as a support jungler, as most junglers tend to be built now. Most of the junglers that are in vogue right now at the moment tend to be support junglers. So he works pretty well down that route. And he does scale reasonably well in the late game. One of the problems is he needs a lot of items to be effective. He starts out relatively weak, but if he can get his items, then he turns into a reasonably strong champion. However, he kind of needs to get up to his Trinity Force in order to become effective as a champ. So he needs quite a few items. Otherwise, he falls into this trap where if he goes into a fight and he doesn't build, if he goes into a fight and he's not built tanky, he just gets blown up immediately. But if he builds tanky, then he doesn't deal any damage. It can be sort of a problem. But he is I'd say he's pretty strong if you can make it into late game and can get a bunch of items on him. So again, he does have some advantages. He does scale reasonably well because of his passive. So let's highlight here for you. This is the thing that most people probably know about Hecarim. His passive means it gets to ignore all unit collisions, so you never have to worry about running into minions. If you're ganking as a jungler, you can run right through them, and he gets attack damage equal to 10% of his bonus movement speed. So he does get a slight increase in damage based off of his passive. And let's see, Spreekaway is coming down here. Is he going to do red? No, looks like he is not going to do red. So anyway, when he first came out, people were building all this like silly movement speed stuff on him, but you kind of need to build him like any ordinary champ and just take advantage of the passive when you get it. It's not like you're just going to itemize like crazy amounts of movement speed. Just, build fairly normally, and you want your movement speed quints and your points in the defensive and utility tree. You want the bonus movement anyway on most junglers, so just grab them. And aside from that, just the passive doesn't really do that much, unfortunately. Anyway, in terms of skills, Spreekaway put a point in this, his W at level 1, so I'll highlight this first. This is where he gets his sustain. This is called Spirit of Dread. Deals magic damage over time to nearby enemies, and Hecarim's healed for 10% of the damage that these enemies take from any source. And there's a cap on what you can get from minions. So it looks like Spreekaway has put 1 point in that at level 1, and then he's actually going to max his Q first. His Q known as Rampage, so I'll highlight this here for you guys. Cleaves nearby enemies for 85 physical damage. That goes up with more points in the skill. It's a very low damage skill, but it's also on an extremely short cooldown. It's on a 3-second cooldown, and it can stack to the point where you use it every second. Anyway, we do have a gank getting set up here. There was first blood in top lane, but again, we're going to keep the focus here on middle lane, so let's see what's happening. Right there, Shadow Clone Gragas is going to go in. Spreekaway pops his Ghost. Now he does have double buff, so he will have red buff. He will be slowing on auto attacks. Can he manage to catch up? Yes, is going to catch up to Solo Blaze's Orianna. Now chasing after Shogun Lee. Again, every single time he uses that Q, every single time he uses his, Rampage? Yeah, every single time he uses that, it will slow as long as he has red buff. So Hecarim does rely on that red buff. It makes his ganks a lot more powerful because, again, you're just spamming that Q. It's on such a short cooldown. Watch down here on the interface. Watch how fast this comes off of cooldown. So you can just keep spamming it. You jump on somebody on the enemy team. You keep spamming your Q over and over and over again. and it allows you to, keep them perma-slowed, basically. It's sort of like another perma-slow. But again, only if you have red buff. So he is a lot scarier when he has red buff than when he does not. So, I mean, that's true of all junglers, but it's sort of exacerbated on Hecarim because he gets to apply his red buff slow every time that he uses his rampage. And again, right now, Spreekaway has put a 3rd point in the skill. So the damage goes up, but as far as skills go, this is a low damage skill because it's on such a short cooldown. You just use it over and over and over again. It's on like a 3-second cooldown. And again, basic attacks, what is it? If he damages an enemy, let's see, he gains a stack. So yeah, the basic cooldown can stack up to 2 times. So you can get it down to like you can get it down to a 2-second cooldown when those stacks are applied. Alright, now, just a word about itemization. I'll talk more about items later on, but look what Spreekaway has picked up here. He went for, again, the support jungle path, got a Philosopher's Stone, but he also went for the early Oracle, and that's a big-time gamble, but if he can manage to stay alive, then that can also be an extremely powerful asset to the team. There's nothing that's... one of the things that screws up your team the most is if the enemy jungler gets an early Oracle and then just roams around the map and clears out all your wards. It's so frustrating when that happens. So again, it represents a gamble. If Spreekaway dies, obviously he loses the Oracle, but it can be a huge asset. Anyway, let's look at his E. This gives Hecarim extra movement speed for 4 seconds, and his attack knocks the enemy back. So right there's the charge. See the knockback, knocks Solo Blaze's Orianna into the wall. Now continuing to chase. Again, Spreekaway still does have that red buff, so his Qs are going to slow. I keep forgetting the name of this skill. His rampages are going to slow. Kind of a weird name for a skill. But anyway, he is going to keep slowing. That red buff just about to wear off, but managed to come in at the right time. Note the ganking path here used, went through the tri-brush up here. Again, had Oracle, so Spreekaway knew there were no wards, came down this way, and then came out behind Orianna from this lane right here. Got the knockback on the charge. Anyway, and there is the Oracle sweeping out another ward on the river right there. Again, I didn't really have a full time to explain the skill, but like I said, this gives him extra movement speed, and what is it, for 4 seconds, knocks the target back, and deals physical damage based on how far you traveled. So basically, this is what you use this is the skill you need to gank lanes. You pop this when you're about to run out, gives you extra movement speed, and therefore gives you extra damage through your passive, but it's pretty much a 1-point skill. You max Q first. Apparently, I don't know this champion that well, but it looks like you max Q first, and then you max W second. W gives you your sustain in the jungle. That means you don't have to build like a Vamp Scepter or anything. You can keep life stealing off of the minions, and this is enough to keep you pretty close to full health. Now, there is another weakness of Hecarim. He is quite blue buff dependent when he's spamming these rampages. Each one only costs 25 mana, but that does add up over time. You're spamming it every 2 seconds. So he tends to be fairly blue dependent, and Spreekaway actually is going to take this second blue buff and not give it to his middle lane. So just keep that in mind. I think that's one of the reasons why you don't see him played as much. I think that if they dropped this to 20 mana from 25, you'd see him played a lot more often, just because he wouldn't be as dependent on the blue buff as he is right now. Anyway, we do have a gank getting set up in top lane. Spreekaway's looping around to set this up. So let's watch this fight right here. Serial's Jax is going to get off that counter strike right there. Sun in the Pro going to knock him back with the Lee Sin Dragon's Rage. Going to kick him backwards. But Serial is Jax. He's going to jump in with the Leaf Strike right there though. Oh, he just needs to get one auto attack, but he can't get it off. And that is going to be a very shamefaced Jax after that particular play. Could not seem to get off that one last auto attack to pick up that kill. And poor Serio, I'm sorry to put this on YouTube, Serio. I'm sorry about that. It just didn't quite work out there. It was going to be a 1-for-1 trade anyway because Spreekaway was coming in from the backside on that one. But as it turns out, no, Sun in the Pro able to escape that one. Somehow, miraculously, he used his Dragon's Rage, the Lee Sin ultimate, to kick back very, very effectively. And then he was able to flash out away from the last auto attack and just managed to get out of that one by the skin of his teeth. Anyway, there is another fight going on over here, but note that Shadow Clone, the Gragas player, does not have any mana, so that will be important in this fight. There's the Orianna ult coming out, Solo Blaze chasing, Hecarim ult as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. It looks like this is a surefire kill, but Solo Blaze is going to pop on that shield and just barely make it out of here on 17 HP. Right now, Serial's entering the fight. Shogun Lee still hanging around. Sun in the Pro is here as well, trying to chase this down. Spreekaway doing a good job just to get out with that Oracle intact, does not want to lose it. And again, Shadow Clone not able to use that Gragas ult. It was up the whole fight, but he just didn't have enough mana to use it. Again, 100 mana didn't have it. So that should have been an easy kill, but Gragas didn't have enough mana. And again, consequence of Hecarim taking that blue buff. Taking the blue, not giving it to Gragas. Defensible choice, obviously. Like I said, Hecarim is pretty blue dependent, but it did come back to bite them a little bit in that fight because Gragas didn't have enough mana to ult, and that would have been a very easy kill on Orianna. Still, props to Solo Blaze. The Orianna player used the command Protect to give himself that extra, what is that? That extra shield, was it 80 health? Give himself that extra health and allow him to survive. Meanwhile, Sen the Pro is still running around in the jungle. He's going to try to recall out of here. The rest of the red team trying to find him. Are they going to find him? Are they going to find him? No. He's going to make his way out of there. And Shogun Lee, Soul Blaze, going to get there just a little bit too late to stop that recall. So he was able to go in and steal the red buff. And that is going to make laning in top lane a lot easier, having that red. Okay, so we didn't have a chance to talk about the ultimate on Hecarim. This is called Onslaught of Shadows. It's a pretty good ultimate. He charges forward, deals magic damage. The damage, not that significant, fairly low damage, but what it does is it causes nearby enemies to flee from Hecarim for 1 second. So he charges forward, and it's an area of effect flee. The downside is it's only 1 second, so it's pretty low. I think also they might want to look to changing this to 1.5. If they made that 1.5 seconds instead of 1, he would be a lot more terrifying. Anyway, so we do have a fight getting set up here. Let's see what's going to happen. Again, the Oracle in place. Warlord going to flash in and stun Shinsetsu's Corki. There is the ult right there, the Onslaught of Shadows. You can see how short that fear effect is. Sandstream's going to flash backwards. It's a nice Sona ult right there, but not going to be enough as Varus Nox is going to finish that off as Tristana. And so that's going to be another kill in bottom lane as Varus rocket jumps back towards the minions. And here is the value of that Oracle once again coming in, clearing out the ward coverage, clearing out the wards at Dragon. So far, the Oracle has paid off handsomely. Spreekaway's been able to keep it up. He has not died yet, even though he's been in combat a couple times. Always more risky on a melee champion, on somebody like Hecarim, who does need to dive into the middle of the fights. Than it would be on a ranged champion. Now right here, Solo Blaze looks like he might be coming in to try to gank, but he's going to find the Hecarim here, and once again, Spreekaway does have that red buff. There's the Orianna ult, and it's going to be finished off by Gragas with the barrel. Now Shogun Lee trying to get away. Spreekaway has popped his ghost. He's got the extra movement speed. Again, he's slowing on every use of that rampage, and a nice exploding casket from Gragas, going to get the knockback, going to pick up that kill. Actually, Spreekaway got the kill, but the knockaway is what set it up. And with another kill in bottom lane that happened simultaneously, was able to take out Corki. Let's just go back and take a quick look at how that happened, just to see how that happened. Again, it's a replay mode. I don't have to see it all. It looks like Shinsetsu got very low. He probably should have just... Yeah, okay, so he got chunked down. He really should have probably just backed at this point in time. You don't want to be sitting around... note that he doesn't have his support here. He's back. He's very low underneath the tower. Yeah, this is just asking for trouble. Varus is just going to get one auto attack and ignite. Looks like all that was. Varus used Ignite. Yeah, one auto attack and Ignite was enough. So that was unfortunately just staying around a little bit too long there on the part of Shinsetsu, the Corki player on the red team. So with mid dead, with mid and jungler dead, and the AD in bottom lane also dead for red team, blue team's going to slip in here and take an uncontested dragon. So that's going to put them significantly ahead, taking a game that was relatively close, a game that was about a little over 1,000 gold difference, and boom, now it's a 5,000 gold difference. So that is making the plays happen and putting your team ahead. So far, Spreekaway has really done a nice job. He's created a lot of kills for his middle lane. Gragas is 103, so Spreekaway's created 4 kills in middle lane. He was there for all 4 of those, and then also set up a kill in bottom lane as well for Varus Nox. So has really done a nice job, and then also was able to pick up that dragon for the team. Okay, again, as far as Hecarim goes, remember, like I said, maxing Q first, maxing W second, Spirit of Dread. Increases the heal percentage with more points. E is the 1-point skill, 1 point at level 4, and of course, skilling your ultimate whenever it's up. Makes sense there. Now, in terms of itemization, again, going the support jungler route, Philosopher's Stone, Heart of Gold is first 2 items after boots, along with the Oracle. This is what you build if you're doing a support jungle path. See, is Gragas going to be able to steal this? I don't think so. No, doesn't look like he's going to be able to, but here comes Warlord, and here comes Spreekaway. Once again, still does have that red buff. I believe he picked up the red buff from a kill on someone else. Anyway, Solo Blaze going to be able to flash out of there. Gragas exploding casket misses on that occasion, so not able to get it. But now Corki in a bad place. There's the Dazzle stun from Tark right there, using the Hecarim ult really nicely. Onslaught of Shadows. Let me just go back and rewind so people can see that, because this is a skill that people aren't that familiar with. just so you can see how that fear proc works. And I'll slow it down here. So watch. Shinsetsu, the quirky player, tries to dazzle out. And right here, there's the ult. Again, the fear makes Quirky walk backwards. So he walks back in the direction he doesn't want to go to. Then the rest of the team piles on for cleanup duty. And Spreekaway picks up his 4th kill. So again, an AoE ult, area of effect ult that can reposition people, pretty powerful if you use it right. And that was a good example of how to use that ultimate correctly, forcing Quirky to walk back into a dangerous area. Even though that fear only lasts for 1 second, and if you can set it up correctly, it can be pretty powerful in its own right. So this has been a good example of how to play Hecarim, and that's the reason why I tried to pick this up, because people have requested some Hecarim gameplay, and I didn't have a good example of that before, but this game serving as a pretty good example of that. This ward's going to die. Let's see, are they going to clear it? No. Ward's already dead. And it looks like this blue buff is going to be donated to Gragas. At least I think so. Anyway, in terms, again, further itemization, looks like Spreekaway is going for Merc Treads. I'm assuming that that's what he's picking up here, which makes sense against this team. Enemy team has quite a bit of magic damage. Everyone on their team deals at least some. Even Jax and Quirky deal some magic damage. And of course, Nunu and Orianna are basically all magic damage. So makes sense to pick up the Merc Treads for this game. Note also the early Sheen. Sheen is just perfect item for Hecarim. You want to pick this up at some point fairly early on because it just synergizes perfectly with this Rampage. You've got a skill that's on like a 2 to 3 second cooldown, and that means you're going to be proccing Sheen every time you use it. Next basic attack deals bonus physical damage, so you want to keep proccing that Sheen over and over again. And this could be trouble. Shogun Lee looks like he is in a mighty fine bit of trouble right here. There's the Sona ult coming out. Varus is taking quite a bit of damage here. He was exhausted. He will fall right there. Quirky, let's see, is Spreekaway going to be able to chase this down? Yes, does grab it under the tower. Then going after Sandstream, looks like he wants blood, but nope. Too many tower shots, going to back off there. Does not want to lose that Oracle. So 80 on one side, traded for the 80 on the other side. And Nunu's still back here behind the tower. Remember, Nunu does not have any mana right now, but Solo Blaze's Orianna coming down from middle lane is going to encourage Spreekaway and Warlord to back out. Or at least it should. Warlord's going forward there, again, for some reason. So a 1-for-1 exchange right there. Like I said, 80 traded for AD. Basically even on both sides. No real advantage gained by either team in that particular little fight. Anyway, let's see what Spreekaway's about to buy now. He's got 1,500 gold. So there's the Merc Treads. And what is he going to get next? Let's see. I can't quite remember from when I watched this. Oh, he is going for... Okay, so he's going for Zeal. He's going for his Trinity. Again, like I said, Trinity is kind of the key item on Hecarim. He needs to get that Trinity Force. So it looks like the build that Spreekaway is using is support jungler. Again, Philosopher's Stone, Heart of Gold with the Merc Treads, and then straight into Trinity. Look, because it just has everything that he needs. It has the Sheen proc, which works so well with Rampage, with the Hecarim Q. It has Zeal, which gives bonus movement speed, again, works with Hecarim's passive. And then it has the Phage, so it has the chance to slow, and also gives extra health and attack damage. So all of that works really well. Now here we go, here comes another gank in there. There's the E, there's the Devastating Charge, there's the knockback. Are we going to see the repositioning? A nice exploding casket, and then there is the Hecarim ultimate, the Onslaught of Shadows as well. Again, this is a relatively short video, so I'll go back and just watch this again so we can watch how these two ults, again, double repositioning, and wow, that's a little bit buggy right there. Let's just watch here. There is the Gragas charge forward. There's the Gragas barrel knocking Solo Blaze backwards, and there is the Onslaught of Shadows, again, forcing Orianna to walk backwards away from her tower. So two repositioning ults used together. Poor Orianna. Rough going for poor Solo Blaze, who's really been targeted heavily by the blue team in this match. But again, the two ults that both reposition can do some really good stuff. Now, looks like blue team is setting up for a dive in bottom lane. This tower is very low. It only has 300 health. That means it'll go down in about 3 to 4 auto attacks. So this tower does not really offer much protection. What Varus and Warlord are trying to do is push the minions up to this tower, and then as soon as they do that, they're going to go in. Again, there's no ward coverage. Spreekaway knows because he's got the Oracle. They don't know that he's here, so here he is going in. Doesn't have his ult, but there's the Devastating Charge in, going after Sandstream. A nice dazzle stun from Warlord's Taric right there. And Sandstream, can he manage to get out of this? No, Spreekaway is going to finish it off with another Rampage Q right there. So that's a very well set up dive right there. They knew the tower was low. They set up for the play. Spreekaway was patient. He waited here until the opportunity arose, And then they just went in fact, if he had his ultimate up, that may have been a double kill right there. But Corki able to Valkyrie out of there, and Shinsetsu is going to live to fight another day. Still, the situation is not good for the red team. They're almost 10,000 gold behind. They're about 9,000 gold behind right now. They've lost 2 of their 3 outer towers, and really the only lane where they're doing well is up here in top lane. Serial is actually ahead of Sen and the Pro's Lee Sin. It's pretty even, but he is ahead by 20 minion kills. Although due to the global gold, it should be, yeah, due to the global gold, Lee Sin is actually ahead. But again, that's not due to the matchup in lane. Serial's actually winning this matchup in lane. It's just that the global gold from those towers and that dragon have put Lee Sin ahead. Anyway, Nunu trying to do his blue. It is warded, though. The ward coverage is very good for the blue team. Look at their wards. Pretty solid. They can see most of the map. And right here, oh no, Solo Blaze in trouble yet again. There's the exploding casket, though. Unfortunately misses. Going to knock him back to safety. And oh no, blue buff has reset, and that's not good for Shogun Lee. Here goes Spreekaway again, charging in there, but I don't think he wants to dive 3 members of the enemy team under a tower. They should just be able to take this blue and back out. Either Gragas or Hecarim would be good choices for it. So who's actually going to get this blue? We've got quite a good fight going on here. Tark ult coming out. There is the onslaught of shadows dashing into the middle of the team. Corki now going to get blown up as well. Varus getting the double kill. Again, Tristana's rocket jump resets on all kills or assists. So going to pick up 2 kills. Now Spreekaway still wants this. Still diving after Solo Blaze. He's going to get it. And oh, that last tower shot. Not quite enough to get away there. Needed a little bit more movement speed from Hecarim, but that is still going to be a 4-for-1, and it's going to be a free dragon for blue team. So lost the Oracle, sadly, but still a very good fight for blue team. That's, again, that fight was a function of them being ahead. Varus Nox scored the double kill. He picked up red buff, and again, once Tristana starts to get fed, it's rocket jump, kill, rocket jump, kill, rocket jump, kill, over and over again. Tristana is one of the most likely champs in this game to get a pentakill. One of the most likely ADs, at least. Some of the other champions have skill sets that are more prone to getting pentakills. Master Yi, Katarina are sort of famous for that. But anyway, here we go. There is now the Trinity Force. So attack damage, ability power, attack speed, crit chance, movement speed, health, and mana with the Sheen proc and the chance to slow from Phage. So again, really gives Hecarim basically everything that he wants. Alright, here we go. You can see the bonus from his passive right here. So currently getting 28 bonus AD. That's a pretty big deal, actually, at this point in time. 28 damage, that's worth, that's about 1,000 gold worth of stats for free. 28 damage is roughly about 1,000 gold worth of stats. So that's a pretty big deal, like I said. Anyway, Spreekaway, not enough gold to rebuy the Oracle. Doesn't have that, but he does have his Trinity, and now he's become a real big threat. So let's see what's going to happen up here. Looks like a fight is being baited in top lane. Let's see if Sen and the Pro can get out of here. Here comes Spreekaway as well. Going to be a 2-on-3 on the blue team. Oh, wow, that's unfortunate. Sandstream misses the ult right there. Going to use Hecarim ult to run away to disengage. Right there, we are going to see Sen and the Pro get blown up. Reinforcements are on their way, though. Gragas coming. Going to walk right into Nunu, wow, and just explode him with a Gragas barrel, and then the exploding casket just kills Nunu in 2 shots right there. Poor Shogun Lee, unfortunately, has gotten very under-leveled. It's because a lot of his jungle keeps getting stolen. He's only level 7. He's actually the lowest level in the game right now. And unfortunately, his build is not very good for a Jungle Nunu build. Jungle Nunu also needs to go the support route. He needs to get his Philosopher's Stone, his Heart of Gold. By getting this Catalyst, he's just not getting gold income. So look, only 3,100 gold. That's the least in the game. He's about 5,500 gold behind Spreekaway's Hecarim. So unfortunately for Shogun Lee, under-leveled because he wasn't able to clear enough camps. And he's under-farmed as well because he doesn't have any gold per 10s. And he really did need to get at least 1 gold per 10, preferably 2. He really needs to get Philo and Heart of Gold at the very least if he's going to be effective. That would have helped him out. He would have had a lot more gold if he had picked them up. Anyway, so right here, now you see the next item that Spreekaway is going for. He's going to go for the, the Glacial Shroud into a Frozen Heart. Another really nice item choice for Hecarim. Lower his cooldowns, make him tankier, give him extra mana. Remember how I said he was very mana dependent. Over here, Sandstream in trouble. Is ShadowClone going to be able to pick this up? No, he misses the barrel toss. Does he have an Exploding Casket in him? Yes, he is going to get the Exploding Casket. Now, can ShadowClone manage to get out of here? I don't know that he's going to make it out. Jax is there, and Serial's going to pick that up. Trading the AP mid for a support, generally not a good trade right there. And so I would have to say that one was not worth it, as these things go. Would have to say that one was not worth it. So greedy indeed, as ShadowClone himself says. Anyway, blue team is still in a strong position. What they need to look to do now is they really should look to put pressure on Baron. You need someone to get an Oracle and look to put pressure on that. Varus, though, is dominating in top, and uh-oh, here comes Hecarim. He's got that movement speed, and oh, can Corki get out of here? No, he cannot. Spreekaway dashing after with the Hecarim ult, but not even necessary. Already blown up, and Varus Nox is going to pick up his 6th kill of the game as Tristana right there. And this is not a good sign. You don't ever want to see Trist getting this fed in the game. Already has Infinity Edge, is picking up Zeal, is getting close to, actually does have Phantom Dancer. We'll get it on the next trip back. And right now, everybody on red team is just ignoring this lane, and Sona cannot hold this tower by herself, so it looks like this is just going to be a totally free inhibitor for blue team. Red team just not responding. Now Sariel desperately trying to get back to base, but it's not going to be in time, and unfortunately, red team's going to give away their bottom inhibitor basically for free right here. Not with the champs in position to stop it. Anyway, Solo Blaze trying to get in, gets off a pretty good Orianna ult, but again, their problem just, their team is so far behind. Varus is going to blow that up again, gets the rocket jump, going to jump out again when the rocket jump cools down. Got quite a fight going here. Spreekaway chasing after Sandstream, but Sandstream will flash over the wall. Shogun Lee getting low now. Varus going to pick up that kill, so his rocket jump will cool down again. Where did he go? I actually missed him on the cam mark. No, came down here. And unfortunately, Spreekaway was polished off by Sariel. Varus, they're going to jump over the wall, has picked up red buff in this fight, slowing on every auto attack. Going to pick up that kill as well. That's his 3rd kill in the fight. And unfortunately, that is going to spell a lot of trouble for red team. This game has just gotten out of hand, and it has really begun to snowball in favor of blue team. They're up by, what, 18 kills? Yes, up by 18 kills and up by about 14,000 global gold, and that's only getting worse as these towers go down. Sudden the Pro taking top tower, Varus, Warlord, and Shadow Clone taking mid tower. So this game really has just gotten out of hand at this point. It's snowballed too hard in favor of one team. Varus has to be sitting on, yeah, 3,600 gold, so it's only going to get worse when they go back to base to buy. And again, still has that red buff, still chunking pretty hard and slowing on every auto attack. Spreekaway now even has enough for his Frozen Heart, so he is very tanky indeed at this point in time. Let's see, not too much health just yet, 2,600, probably needs to build more health. I would assume we'll go for a Shirelia's or a Randuin's next, both of which will add more health. Needs to get more health there, but does have almost 200 armor and deals quite a bit of damage. So Hecarim, what your role is in these fights is he's very good at jumping on an enemy AD carry and sticking on them. So that's kind of your job, is go in, split up the team with your AoE ult, use your W to try to sustain, again, healing for 30% of the damage enemies take with that Spirit of Dread, and then sit on the AD and just keep queuing them over and over and over again. That's basically your job as Hecarim in a team fight. I'm not sure if we're going to see that or how representative it would be at this point because blue team is very far ahead, but that is what you should be looking to do, is just try to find one of the high priority targets on the enemy team, dive them, and then just stick to them, sit on their face, and don't let them auto attack your team. Uh-oh, Shogun Lee is in trouble. He's only level 9. The exploding casket will miss, though, and it looks like he might be able to make it out of here. Spreekaway is chasing, though. He is chasing with his E, but nope, not quite enough. Not quite enough to catch up to that. Yeah, this devastating charge is on cooldown, so used it in that last fight. Anyway, though, looks like blue team is going to make the correct play here. Again, they are very far ahead. They want to force a team fight at Baron because they're so much stronger. Actually, they're doing Baron pretty fast, too. There it is, going down 2,000, 1,000, and gone. So again, when you get ahead, you want to look to continue snowballing. You want to look to force the fight. And uh-oh, face check here from Shinsetsu. Going to be able to get away, but here comes Spreekaway charging after. Going to use his ult right there. Going to catch Sandstream in his Fear proc. Down goes Sandstream. Varus going to Legendary in the process. Again, just trying to jump on Sariel and just sit on Jax because Jax is the most dangerous target. Varus getting a double kill right there. Rocket jump again, cooling down. A nice Gragas barrel. Still chasing after Solo Blaze. Still chasing after Sariel. Going to pick up one of those kills. Varus picks up the triple kill. Spreekaway gets the other kill. And that may be it for this game because the enemy team is... What's this? Enemy team just needs to try to defend their base, but there's not much they can do at this point. Varus has Infinity, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper. The base is crumbling before the onslaught of blue team. They do have Baron buff, and there's just not a lot that Solo Blaze can do. He is solo indeed. He was the only member of his team still alive there, although the rest of his team is reviving at this point in time. There goes Gragas charging into the fountain, but again, this one's over, and this one's going to be wrapped up relatively quickly here with a game that just snowballed completely out of hand. So 12-1 Tristana, 9-12 Hecarim, and honestly, this game was a Hecarim MVP by far. Spreekaway just setting up the team to win and putting Varus Nox in position to take over and carry in the late game. And if you check the global gold totals, they share the most in the game, right at about 12, a little over 12,000, 12,500 gold. So What can we say about this video? Well, Hecarim, I mean, when he's played correctly, he can be an effective jungler. The downside is, as I've tried to say a couple times, he does need a lot of gold to be effective. He needs to get that Trinity Force, and that's an expensive item for a jungler. So, can he be useful? Yes, absolutely. I don't think he's a top tier jungler, but he does do some interesting things, and he can be an effective jungler if he's able to snowball out in front and get the right items. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Spreekaway, I finally did get a game with Hecarim up on the channel, so thanks to you for providing this and for giving us an example of another champ. Once again, hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.